This high school season, it's time to choose your gaming destiny. Whether it's gaming icons clashing in the ultimate showdown in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, hitting the road and outpacing the competition in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or slinging ink with your friends in colorful battles in Splatoon 3. Bring competitive Nintendo gaming to your high school through PlayVS. Learn more about the upcoming season by visiting PlayVS.com.
Howdy, one and all, and welcome to the PlayVS. It is New York. It is your regional PlayVS High School Fall 2023. It's a mouthful, by the way. New York Region Finals. There we go. Kendo Slice alongside Captain Etsoka, and I'm already bumbling my words.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of bumbling, there's gonna be a lot of stumbling, there's gonna be a lot of fumbling, everything in between. Because again, we're gonna be playing some Super Smash, and honestly, I cannot wait to get into the finals already. The matchup should be pretty intense. I mean, we're gonna have ourselves a best of 5 series, and the way that's gonna work is that each player is gonna come in, they're gonna play their best of 3s in a 1v1 scenario, and then of course the next player comes up, they play their match, so on and so forth, until we have ourselves a winner. So in the words of a good friend of mine, Cairo Cass, things are about to get a wee bit scrappy here at the New York finals, and I can't wait for it.
Hey, that is exactly what we're talking about, though. It is Scholastic Esports at its finest, and we have 2 finalists that we want to mention and to exhort. It is Kuhos High School, the team name, probably the best one I've seen in a long time. 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. I don't know who Andrew Rice is, but congratulations. You got a team named after you. Middletown High School, be on the opposite end. It's Middle Esports Blue. And Gap, do you mind going down the line there?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, let's take a look-see here. Coming from the side of 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. Of course, starting things off is going to be Tom Spence, followed by Devin Hugel, then Jason Harlow. And on the bench, they're going to come through with Raven Pompey and Anthony Saunders. And of course, the coach coming from the side of Co-Host High School is going to be Michael Wilt. So again, big shout out to the coaches because we couldn't do nothing without them, of course. But now, coming in from the other side for Middleton High School will be Middle Esports Blue, starting with their lineup of Josiel Santana Martinez, probably Josiel. Again, pardon my horrible pronunciations. And then Diego Ruiz, Matthew McKay, and coming from the bench on their team is going to be Adonis Ramirez, Ethan Sanchez, and Yaniel Rodriguez Vera. Again, pardon my horrible pronunciations, but I'm just reading it off the list as it comes. And then the coach is going to be Sean Sweetster. Or Sweetser. So there you have it. Those are going to be both of your lineups coming into the finals for both 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice and Middle Esports Blue.
And shout out again to those coaches because administration, as well as the leadership behind those teams, it goes so far. It's of the utmost important. These are scholastic athletes who are growing not just in the classrooms, but they're growing behind the controller right now. And there is some action to get into. Are you ready to get into the action? Well, the enrollment for the spring 2024 season is now open and it is free to compete. So discover those opportunities that PlayVS has to offer and get all the details about the upcoming spring season at playversus.com. Don't just watch, play. As we said, we are going to be getting into this one, Cap. I apologize. I'm over here. I'm destroying you. I'm interrupting you. My understanding is we have a Cloud and an Enderman right off the bat.
Oh, no. My goodness. Well, this is definitely interesting to say the least. I wonder how many Endermans and or, Steves we're going to see throughout this throughout the bout. Not just the bout, but going into both finals. And I mean, already we're off to the races. As you can see, it will be Astro who's going to be starting things off here for Middle Esports Blue, again on that Enderman, and finds themselves right in the middle of a cross slash. But if you look at the damage percentage, it is all going the way of this Minecraft Steve.
Of course, Astro coming in on the Minecraft Steve. That is Diego Ruiz. Trying to get an update on co-host side. It looks like the Cloud is Tom Spence, chum. So they are Gonna be starting out strong so far. Looking at the matchup, you have somewhat of a power hitter in a Cloud, whereas with a Steve, that there's a reason a lot of people dislike the Steve. Bannable offense in some places.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because I was actually trying to avoid not saying it. But with that being said, what is the old adage? Get good, I suppose. So even though, like you had mentioned, some communities actually look to ban the Steve. We're going to be playing on here, and you can see why Steve is one of the biggest powerhouses in Smash. They are just doing phenomenal right now. Again, looking to take that second stock off of Cloud while still holding on to their first. And meanwhile, unfortunately for Cloud, they still don't have their limit breaker. They used it once already, and that managed to get at least Astro, this Minecraft Steve up to 100%, and now looking to get that first stock. But again, Astro, they're hanging on here for Middle Esports Blue.
My understanding is if you're up against the Steve, you don't want to give them enough time to mine. You want to make sure that they're not able to just utilize some of those mining tools to zone you out. And especially with a Cloud, being abrupt, being in your face is going to be a huge plus, but you still have to worry about some of those Steve movements, which are so tough to read. It's a boxy thing.
Oh, absolutely. And another thing, just to add on to what you were saying, about allowing Steve to mine, is that you don't want to let them get to that diamond equipment. Once you get the diamond sword, my goodness, that is where you're going to be receiving a lot of damage. Meanwhile, you can see that we are getting right back into the action here. Center stage, and there you have it. That will be the last stock here in game number 1, going the way of Minecraft Steve.
Or Enderman, whichever one you prefer. Basically, a different skin for the same body. Just got updated. It's Jason on Cloud. Jason on Cloud. So, shout out to Jason Harlow on the Cloud for 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. It's going to be so much fun to sneak that in every single time we have the opportunity. Who is Andrew Rice? What? And how?
I think Andrew Rice is a football player, if I'm not mistaken. I thought, the name sounds familiar. Unless I could be crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking.
I feel like it's a generic enough name that it could be any Andrew Rice. I'm hoping that it's the most glorious inside joke, and everyone is just
Googling
there
right now.
live snickering each time we say 40 metric tons.
I was way
of
off.
Andrew Rice.
I really can't tell, honestly, at this point. I don't know who they are. They're either an author or some type of golf instructor. I don't know. Ooh. I Googled it and that's all I got. But regardless, no matter who they are, they got themselves a pretty hefty esports team, coming out trying to get the first win there. Unfortunately, though, that Minecraft Steve, the Enderman, coming from the side of Middle Esports Blue, my goodness, they were just too strong and they were definitely well equipped. Again, being able to get that mining done so that way they could upgrade their weaponry. And like you said, their utility as well to bring around some of that zoning. But again, it's those heavy swings coming from the diamond sword, the diamond pickaxe. Once you get hit by something like that, you are getting sent to the blast zone.
Very much so. And as I look through, and by the way, it's just a memo, everybody, all the kids listening, you can't always Google all the answers. So, learning experience as we go. But I agree with you. We're definitely going to have to see maybe something a little different from the Cloud. There was a lot of patience that went in with the approach. There were elements of trying to get in the face of the Enderman, but you still saw the Enderman get to that point. You can't just allow that to happen already. You got half the mining done.
Yeah, just about. Now you can already see that we are on what appears to be a different map this time around. You can see we are going to be on the Animal Crossing map, which is fun because the platforms tend to come and go. But I think this is the smaller version, so those platforms might be here to stay. But already you can see the back throw will be successful coming from the Enderman, and already Cloud is at an 83% damage. So even though that you can see Steve, a little bit of a speedy character, they are deceptively heavy hitting. They deal so much damage so quickly, and already that up B able to land from Cloud, but still the damage percentage is favoring this Enderman as another up B will land coming from 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice, and they look to take the first stock, but Enderman still in this one as the edge guard continues to be successful from this Cloud.
Utilizing the much smaller stage to create a positive influence. It doesn't seem like the Enderman has much room to run. We'll be looking to continue to secure another stock. And no edge guard needed on that one. You're already down to your last one.
And not only that, but you're looking at that diamond weaponry now coming out from the Enderman, and that's going to be dealing a lot of damage. I mean, look at this, already 54% on a fresh stock coming from Cloud, who is not a glass or squishy character by any means. They are definitely, you know, a little bit on the heavier side when it comes to a lot of the smash tiers. And there goes the cross slash in order to get that first stock off of Enderman here in game number 2. And it looks like they are going to be going for that up B again. It does land, but still a long way to go. As you can see, that co-hosts are still going to be holding on to their last stock here.
Gonna take quite a monumental run for the 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice to get a first victory in this one, down by more than a full stock. It seems like this Enderman has the smash, not going to be completely secure just yet, but with the amount of damage on this Cloud, all but over. We've seen crazier things, though. We're going to see it ending with a exclamation point as the Steve Astro coming through very strong. So it's a great first foot forward for Middle Esports Blue.
Yeah, I don't actually have, you know, I'm wearing like the Enderman skin, you know, I also got, you know, my black sleeves on, you know, so I guess I'm looking kind of Endermanish myself. But with that being said, I'm a big fan of like the Looney Tune finishes, you know, like with the anvil with the big Acme on the side of it. To me, that's hilarious. I love that. You know, even though I'm not the biggest fan of like Steve or Enderman or, you know, whatever it may be, but the Looney Tune finish with the anvil just dropping right on the noggin of Cloud, you've got to applaud the slapstick hilarity that comes with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve is a meme. That is for sure. The amount of different skins you can throw on top of it, the fact that you quite literally can say, "Hey, I just got beat by Enderman." There's a lot of comedy that can go behind it as well, but a lethal Steve is a tough thing to get through, and for Middletown High, Astro comes in looking very strong with their Steve. So Diego Ruiz will take the first set for Middletown, and for Coho, they're gonna have to make a statement of their own going forward into the next set.
I'm just enjoying the intermission music right now because it is pretty groovy, if I do say so myself. It's very much a bop, and I'm enjoying it. But with that being said, the sound of the next match starting is going to be even more pleasant as we get ready to head into this matchup. And again, I'm expecting it to be the same Cloud versus, you know, your Enderman, which is, you know, somewhat the formula, I think, for this matchup here today. Again, the finals for New York, whereas, you know, a lot of other players, you know, you have some that have a repertoire of different characters they like to switch in and out of, and especially when they're having difficulty with a particular character, they could very well switch up. And we are now seeing a switch up here. As you can see, we no longer have the Enderman in play.
Yeah, we have a slightly different look. My understanding is we have Tom on the Cloud, Tom Spence coming in, and it'll be on the Corin, Diego. Yeah. So.
I think this is a very interesting change this late in the game, because you got to keep in mind that right now, Mighty Esports Blue, you know, they're currently up 2-0 in this series, at least for game number 1 here. And, you know, at this very moment is when they decided to switch up. Very interesting, you know, because if they had stayed on the Enderman or the Minecraft Steve or what have you, they would nearly be guaranteed a 3-0 sweep here. But here we go. Corinne already losing their first stock with only 33% damage taken off of the Cloud.
And of course, we're working on getting the updates as we go on who is playing who at this point. I've been fed information that I am 95% sure is false, just given the fact that it would have broken format. But the important information is what we are getting on the stage, and for Gohos, this is a step in the right direction. This Cloud looking to maintain control in the middle and off the side. We haven't seen too much side guard out of the Corrin yet. It's required quite a bit of space and play to the side of the stage. Really good stuff.
And there goes the first stock off of the Cloud, as now we are at 2 stock apiece. But look at Corrin from Mini Esports Blue. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. As they are at 100% damage, and honestly, Cloud, a little bit of a heavy hitter, so it's not going to take much to send them into the blast zone. But Corrin already catching up in a major way, putting Cloud at 71%. But there goes the forward slash, nearly able to confirm. And all it's going to take is just one more solid hit from this Cloud, and still this Corrin at 150% is hanging on and is able to recover.
Kind of crazy to think, though, you have multiple Clouds on this squad. So it's definitely a different look compared to what you normally expect. We're going to go to one last stock in game number 1 of set number 2. So it is a clean slate. The amount of pressure building between these two combatants, and they aren't giving each other very much room at all.
No, they definitely are not. As you can see, it is going to be yet another cross slash that comes out. Cloud still holding on. And again, this is getting pretty close to just about even here. I mean, you got 54%, now 80. Oh my. Onto the core, and Limit Breaker is also officially online. And they are able to hit the ranged attack, the air slash, in order to confirm. And now Corrin at 113% is very dangerous right now for this Corrin.
Very much so. We'll be able to get back to the edge one more time, but one smash, all it'll take from there, and step in the right direction as Tom's Cloud is able to push this one into the winner's column for Gohos.
All right, the best tactic that you could possibly do now is to switch to Steve. Just switch to Steve. Bring Steve back. Bring Enderman back.
Bring Steve
you know,
back.
that's the all code. You know what I mean? Just bring back Enderman. I mean, that's gonna be the only thing that can take on Cloud at this point. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Clearly, obviously, I'm joking. But with that being said, still a fantastic first round. I love a good sortie battle. Sorties are some of my favorites, if not my most favorite type of players in Smash. So being able to see Cloud, who is very, amongst the community rated as an S tier sortie, going up against a Corrin is still very fun to see. Now, I think it also would have been interesting to see a Lucina come out, or even a Byleth, because Byleth is also considered one of those really phenomenal sorties, and then Lucina, very, very speedy. Corrin, again, they're somewhat of a good balance, but going up against the Cloud, I just feel like Cloud with that Limit Breaker is going to have a little bit more of a competitive edge over a Corrin, but still, so far, what we're seeing is a pretty competitive match. Even though it did go the way of the Cloud, it still came down to that very last stock there in game 1 of set number 2.
Well, yeah, for the Corrin, you definitely want to utilize the stage control elements of this character and try to take center. More often than not, the Cloud was chasing the Corrin completely out, and utilizing more of that control will go a long way in game number 2.
Well, here we are right back onto Pokemon Stadium 2, and this Corrin wasting no time here, being able to deliver a little bit of that damage early, but Cloud already catching up as we are here center stage. And a nice follow-up. As you can see, that Limit Breaker almost online already here on the first stock. And you can see Corrin just actively trying to avoid the danger, using a little bit more of that utility. And it looks like they're going to be playing more of a range game here in game number 2.
That can work, but I would like to see trying to keep up and react a little bit better, because this Cloud is owning the middle of the stage. This is exactly where they want to be, and once they have control of the middle, they have been utilizing the long-range attacks. They've been utilizing the limit breaks extremely well. We're seeing the heaviness of Cloud come into play. It's just been able to utilize the amount of damage so much better.
Yeah, and take a look at this. Their limit breaker already back online. Again, the momentum, the way that they're able to just continue on and just really just keep that pace in their favor is truly just perfect timing here coming from the Cloud, at least so far. But still, you got to keep in mind, this Cloud nearly able to completely lap Corrin in terms of damage, and they have now successful limit still building as Corrin able to recover back center stage and right into another big hit as that cross slash is off target. Corrin caught a lucky break, but for how long will it last?
This Cloud almost seemingly the boogeyman at center stage, with Corrin not able to do too much when it comes to the attack. We do finally see the stock, and now it's going to be a battle of how much can you get of that 125 damage. The answer, not enough.
Oh, no, all it's going to take is a nice cheeky back air from the Cloud. That'll just about do it. And here we go back into the action now for the second stock of Cloud and the last stock on this Corrin. Again, a very dangerous place to be. As you can see, Limit is back online for Cloud, looking for the opening, but good juggles coming through from Corrin just to try and, keep this Cloud at bay. And again, not trying to fall for that limit breaker. As you can see, it is gone. Not able to land successfully, and we are just about even here on these stocks, as now you can see Corrin forcing Cloud over towards the edge, but the recovery is there.
Can we talk about the control that Kohos has been able to bring forth, and Tom specifically has been fantastic of setting the pace. And really, in any FGC title, you want to be able to dictate what your opponent is able to do. We've seen great stage control, we've seen great presence, and it's been forcing the Corrin out of their comfort zone. That being said, we're a little bit of bite back. They need a smash, they need it now, and they're gonna get it! 82 damage, this is possible, Cap!
Yep, that it is. And right now we're seeing the Corrin, they're choosing their spacing very well, at least on that last stock. But now you can see they are very much in the danger. Nice up tilt and the forward air coming from Cloud. Will it be enough to put Corrin in the blast zone and get yet another win for their side? And I believe the first win in the series overall, going the way of Kohos High School.
Yeah, we are 1-1. On set. Kohos High School, the 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice now have a set win under their belt, and a double dose of Cloud was the secret to it. So crazy again that both Jason and Tom working the Cloud. We've seen a Steve, we've seen a Corrin come out of Middleton High, and I'm interested whether or not we're going to get any more changes, or is Kohos an entire team of Clouds? That would be insane. Taking quite literally your team to the Cloud.
Let's see. Honestly, I hope not, just because I do like to see a little bit of diversity in the roster. I'm honestly hoping to see a little bit of Falco, because I've been seeing a lot of their pick rate kind of going up recently in the competitive scene. Love seeing some Falco. As much as I love sorties, I also love the brawlers. And me being a very big heavy guy myself, love the big heavy. So I really want to see some King K. Rool, some Bowser. Let me get in, maybe if I had to say, maybe a Ganondorf. I definitely do like me some Ganon. But again, we can't all get what we hope for, but this is just what I'm hoping to see, as we are getting the sorties underway, and we already got, the Enderman, which honestly, one Enderman is a lifetime supply. So we don't need any more of those.
Yeah. One of the things that is characteristic of this game specifically, especially when you look at it from the standpoint of scholastic esports, is you're showing learning potential. Like, a lot of these young folks are learning specific characters, the ability to counter and to tech against certain other characters, and there's a lot of team building that goes in that. That's one of the reasons why it's so unusual to see double Cloud because I don't know that Cloud is necessarily the most well balanced when it comes to the matchups, but at the same time, if you have two players that know Cloud very well, I get the feeling they can have a great effect on one another. Tom's Cloud may be able to do things Jason's Cloud hasn't been able to do. And Jason's Cloud might be able to do things that Tom's Cloud hasn't able to do. So credit to Michael Witt, the coach there, for the 40 metric tons for uh, making sure that they're able to put the best team together. You really are jamming us.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't blame me. Okay, the intermission music is a bop. You can't blame me. It's very groovy, and you know what? It's all about the get down. Whether it's going to be the get down in between segments, like we're doing right now, in between matches, or if it's going to be the get down when we finally get on stage and we get to see our next matchup. And again, now the series is one apiece, so things are about to start getting a little interesting. But one thing that I really want to see as well is I want to see a zoner. I have yet to see a really big zoner. Don't get me wrong. You could say that Enderman, Minecraft, Steve, whatever is somewhat of a zoner, but you know they're god level, so they're pretty much everything. You know they're like the epitome of golden S tier. They can literally do everything. But when I say a zoner, I'm talking about something more like a Palutena. I'd love to see me a little bit of Pac-Man, even some Duck Hunt, which is rare because again we don't see too many Duck Hunts. But again, like I was saying earlier, even with the Enderman with the anvil, I love the wacky characters. Some of the Looney Tune action is just so fun to watch. Speaking of watch, Game and Watch. That's another character that would be very fun to see. But only time will tell as we wait once again for our next matchup. Now going into set number 3 here in this best of 5.
And it's all even Stevens. One of the mortal enemies of high school competition. It tends to be you end up getting that one or two players that's really, really good at one school, and then you end up with sweeps. The fact that we have two extremely evenly matched squads, and we are looking at a 1-to-1, hey, I will take that every single time. So, dominant gameplay, the ability to adjust, it's going to be on display. We know we're at least getting 4 sets out of this one. Ooh, Sora?
I think that was Corin again. I think we're seeing another Corin. I mean,
Maybe.
I could be mistaken. Doth my ears deceive me? And very much could, you know, because my ears aren't as reliable as they used to be. But with that being said, you know that would be really interesting to see another Corin. Again, that's what it sounded like. Again, I could be mistaken. You know that the Smash announcer is much better than I when it comes to announcing, commentating Smash. So again, you know, being able to try and translate it, you know, it's gonna be remains to see who these characters really are. But now we finally get to see it is going to be the minus
Okay, so one thing we do know, the co-host side, things are a little bit mixed up at the moment. Co-host going to be in the blue. That is your team, 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. So the Sora coming on the side of co-host. Middle Esports blue. And the Cena, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember that one off the top of my head.
This is actually going to be a really interesting matchup just because I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan and I absolutely love Sora. But with that being said, Sora, not the most meta pick here in Smash. In a lot of tier lists, they put him around the C or even, you know, B or even the C range. But right now, I got to say, this Sora, coming from 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice, is playing phenomenally so far. I mean, look at the amount of damage they managed to put onto this Corrin already. 123, and that's what Sora is good at, accruing a lot of damage very quickly. The only problem is Sora doesn't have a lot of knockback, where I think Corrin will be able to make up for that, but it is going to be that up smash that lands in Thundaga just off the mark.
Yeah, if you're a Sora, you're wanting to move quite a bit, but you also have to be smart because a lot of those movements require a commitment behind them. You're seeing Sora flying left, right, up and down all over the stage. But once you're committed to a movement, there's a solid second or two before you're able to make an adjustment. It's definitely something to watch out for. That being said, the amount of speed, you're going to have to make sure your timing is exactly right. And with a precise character like Lucina, it's all the more important to be on your game.
You see, I had a feeling this was Lucina, but I was thrown off because the announcer sounded like they said Corin. But I'm sitting here watching. I was like, this looks a lot like Lucina. Okay, so like I thought I was off for a moment. So yes, my ears doth deceive me because it sounded like the Smash announcer said Corin.
Yeah, it does help that on PS2 we do have the names in the back end. So, for folks like myself who cannot read and/or listen properly, you do have a little bit of help here. And speaking of a little bit of help, potentially looking for a little help. 51 damage on the Sora, not going to be enough, and they're on their lax stock.
Yeah, that they are. As you can see now, this Sora using their ability in the air to really do a lot of damage. And that's where Sora shines. Sora reminds me a lot of Bayonetta in the sense that they are really good in the air, whether it be off stage, whether it be, you know, going up vertically. They can carry their opponents and they have a lot of juggle potential. And Sora right now is using that to their utmost advantage. Again, nice down throw, trying to go into the up tilt as that one does land into the Thundaga. And somehow this Lucina is still holding on now, trying to apply this edge guard, but they go right into a freeze. And finally, the second stock from Sora is gone.
And they're going to be looking for something, but with that much damage, just dodges under it. Is this it? No, is able to get through the freeze.
That they are, and again, being able to avoid that up B. That up B is going to be all that Sora needs right now to finish this one off from Cohoes High School. And now, unfortunately for that Sora, they do dash right into that up tilt. Now the forward slash does land onto the Sora, and they're going way down low, but the recovery's still there, and so is the wake-up damage into the freeze. Looking to finish, but Lucina still hanging on here from Mini Esports Blue.
Steps twice now into the freeze, and it probably should have been able to get the finish, but isn't able to. They are in dangerous. Oh, the up B! What?
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that wake-up damage. That was really
Wow.
sneaky. Again, playing the hitbox off stage, off the edge guard. Again, that's why you have to be careful when you're trying to edge guard Sora, because they are so good off stage. Their recovery is really good. And again, the only real shortcoming is that Sora doesn't have a lot of knockback. So before you get sent into the blast zone, you're eating at least 150% damage. So that's where Sora is going to really apply a good amount of that knockback, is when they finally put you into a damage percentage where it starts to take effect. So again, once you are around that 150%, you're in that red, that's when you might not want to edge guard as hard, because those wake up moves, that recovery from Sora is just so cheeky, you end up losing stocks just like that.
Yeah, you can attack it if you have the kit to attack it, but I don't know that Lucina had the kit to attack it. So take a step a little further back and rely on that control that you do have. And the Sora, Devin will be able to get that first win in set number 3, and we are on a win streak for 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. They're looking very sturdy. I wonder if we're going to get a change in character. I know a lot of the times the goal is to study the characters so you know your personal character to an ultimate point. But I've seen it throughout some of the high school action that I've been able to cover. There are the secondary mains that come in and are able to change everything. Just yesterday, we had someone, if I remember correctly, go from... Oh, mercy. I can't remember what they changed from, but they changed into a Peach. It might have been a Steve into a Peach, which is insane. It changed the entire dichotomy of the matchup, and they were able to secure the matchup.
Oh, absolutely. And right now, you know, just for Sora, because Sora is a floaty character, and floaty characters are very, very punishable, especially if you have someone with a good anti-air. So with that being said, I would not mind seeing a big heavy, again, being partial because I myself am also a big heavy. So again, a little bit of a bias there. But at the same time, Roy. Roy comes to mind because Roy can just deal out so much damage so quickly. And because they do have a little bit of range with the sword as well, Roy is one of my favorite swordies. And honestly, I feel like Roy would be the ultimate punish on to Sora. So I mean, if I were to see a character switch up, those are kind of the picks that I would think to see. Either somebody that can eat a lot of damage, which Roy can, by the way, deceptively heavy, or a heavy character that can eat a lot of damage, or just characters that have really good anti-airs to punish a floaty character like Sora. But I would also be surprised if we see any switches at all, just because in Smash and esports in general,
Yeah.
it relies a lot on comfort picks. So I'm a firm believer in
Exactly.
comfort picks over everything.
Especially at where these young players are in their careers. You're talking about the pinnacle of learning. You are wanting to get so polished with what you know that it becomes undeniable. You can overcome even the toughest of matches. So we do have the Lucina going into the Sora yet again. Game number 2 on the old battlefield. It's underway.
Now here we go. This is a map that I actually like as much as PlayStation. Oh, I was about to say PlayStation 2, Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yeah, PS2.
Listen, yes, the abbreviation is still PS2, so it's understandable, kind of, where the confusion comes in. But no, I do like this map almost as much as Pokemon Stadium 2. Pokemon Stadium 2, of course, is my favorite, and again, it's a reason why it's so popular in the competitive scene, and also because it has the best soundtrack, in my opinion. Again, the Pokemon tunes, they hit different. But here we are. Let's see if this Lucina pick can hit different here in game number 2 of set number 3.
Sora really utilizing center stage early on. Gets smacked the moment the Lucina is able to get in on them. And I find it interesting the use of some of Lucina's tools. They're trying to pull the Sora out where the Sora is remaining extremely grounded.
And that's really interesting because, again, Sora is a more floaty character. So, again, if we could get Lucina up in the air, that's where you're going to be able to see Lucina somewhat in a disadvantage because Lucina is better on the ground. And once you get them off stage, Sora can come through with finishes like that, evening up the stock now at 2 apiece.
Well, especially on a short stage like small battlefield, it almost seems you're playing into the Sora's hands as the Lucina, trying to play around the edges. It's playing around this center stage Sora. It almost, if I were the Lucina, I'd almost want to attack the Sora when it's in the center stage.
Yeah, and that's where things get difficult because that is where you're going to get the optimal, benefit from Lucina is being able to get Sora in the center stage. But the way this Sora is playing, it's kind of like a bait and switch. They're baiting the Lucina to go center stage where they get left vulnerable for something like a down throw into an up B or just an up tilt, which again puts them in the air just like that up B. They lure the Lucina into the center stage again and just put them right back into the air. And right now, this Sora is literally just pulling out the playbook on how to play against a Lucina.
I'd like to see a couple feigns if you're getting Sora through. There's just been a lot of straightforward attacks, not as much utilization of the utility and all the options that Lucina has to offer. And now, down to last stock for co-hosts. They are potentially going to put themselves up a set if they are able to make the execution finalized. And gotta give a brilliant shout out to Devin because it has been consistency that has won the day. This is Lucina tries the edge guard, almost falls off themselves.
And one thing I gotta say that is setting the Sora apart from a lot of Soras that I see is that they're using a lot of their spells and moves like that. Thundaga, in my opinion, is the best move that Sora has. Being able to land that is one of the few moves that Sora has. Not only that is effective at zoning and keeping the distance, but also has a lot more knockback than most of Sora's moves. But kudos on this Lucina for Astro coming out and being able to get that stock even while off stage. But now at 120% damage on their last stock, it's not looking good.
No, it's not. And Sora continuing that center stage. Just a chance to attack. There it is. The Thundaga finishes things off. And it is 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. Just a couple of tons away from a New York Region High School Championship final victory.
And again, it's the Thundaga. It's my favorite move that Sora has. It was my favorite in Kingdom Hearts, like the games, first of all, and it's my second in their Smash abilities as well. It is so well executed coming from the side of 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. You know what's crazy? And again, don't know who Andrew Rice is, but I never missed that name. I will always remember that name now because of this team. Completely unrelated, but the amount of performance that we're seeing from this team is noteworthy, which is why the name sticks with me, because this team is noteworthy in the way that they're playing. They go down the first round and they shook it off. They came back and then went to win the next two. Now here we are, series point in favor of 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice.
I get the feeling that's going to be a team name going into some of the other games that we play potentially together, you know? We're just going to be 40 metric tons of name that tune. So a lot of fun, definitely a memorable team name. And right now they have a chance to make some very special memories. They are one set away from a New York region finals victory. It's going to be up to Middletown High, and I kind of expect 1, 2, 3, Josio, the Steve coming back for set
Oh, no.
number 4.
No. Oh no. Not the Steve. Steve's coming back. Oh,
Here it comes.
Lordy. And you saying that was coming from the side of Middletown High, bringing back the. I told you. And I already said it. You were like, oh, how are we going to answer back against this cloud? Which now we have yet another cloud coming from 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. How do we make the comeback? You just bring back Enderman. That's the answer to everything.
I will say this is the second cloud that we saw. This is going to be Tom's cloud coming in, and you have two victors, the set number 1 and the set number 2 victor going up against each other. And what I'm seeing from Tom is they are not allowing any room for this Steve whatsoever. That being said, the Steve can drop it on you pretty quick.
Yep, that they can. And meanwhile, that back air, oh my goodness, this cloud, my word, that was a beautiful tech. I mean, they were able to just fall from that platform and use that brief moment of being suspended in air to find the back air and get that first stock. I mean, my goodness, this cloud already off to a fantastic start, but will it be enough? We already know how dangerous this Enderman is as they are able to take the first stock now off of Cloud.
And they still haven't been able to find any of those power-ups through the mining. A decent job done by Tom to make sure that Enderman's not able to find it. There's one. They're still looking for their diamond, and they would like to find it before the end or the start of their last stock. Trying to zone the Cloud out. Cloud finding the middle of the stage. Keeping things forward. There's the diamond. Things are about to change very quickly.
And you know, that's the real cheeky thing about Enderman, Minecraft Steve, is that they have abilities that can literally slow you down and create space between you and the Enderman. Because the ideal scenario is to try and get to the Enderman and make it to where they can't mine. But again, they have these little abilities that keep you from them, and they end up being able to mine and get their diamond resources anyway. So again, just such a cheeky character all around.
And there it is. With the supplies were there. Now, full power comes the Steve. And despite all of the effort of this Cloud, they are down 67 damage going into final stock. That is better than we saw from the previous try. So, credit to Tom. Doing a great job. That being said, Steve, 1, 2, 3.
And you know what?
Really good.
I gotta give credit to this Cloud because, again, regardless of their damage percentage, I mean, they are in knockback potential right now. This is dangerous. All it's going to take is one. They are still holding on and giving Steve a run for their money here and playing really good space, but it won't be enough. It's the forward air coming from the Enderman to solidify the game 1 win here in set number 4, is it?
Yes, set number 4. Again, it's 2 sets to 1 in favor of Tom's Cloud's team, the 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. Now I'm starting to lose my integrity when I say that. Ooh, it's going to be a long day.
About to say, we're just getting started.
I
Well,
know,
actually,
right?
I mean,
We are
I
just
mean,
getting started. Here we go.
we're halfway through. I would say this is like the halfway point, right? Of like the first series here for the New York Regional. I mean, and right now, my goodness, it has been an actual back and forth. And I got to tell you, this Tom Cloud is really, really good. The way that they play Cloud is phenomenal, but right now it's just not enough to get the up and over on this Steve. This Steve coming from, you know, Midi Esports Blue or Middleton High School, they are just so good at creating the space necessary in order to really build up their resources again. And it's so cheeky because you can see Cloud trying to close the gap, trying to get on Enderman to keep them from mining those resources, but every single time there's something being thrown their way. There's the sand blocks that come up. There's the mine cart that just picks Cloud up and throws him to the other end of the map. And you know, that Minecraft Steve, that Enderman, again, just so good at creating opportunity, giving them time to mine.
Mentality as we're going into it. If we have a set number 5, who do you think we see? Do we see Devin Sora? And then if we do we see the Corn?
1, go!
I really don't know. That is a if they do bring out if they do bring out the Sora again, I would like to see the Corrin in that matchup. Again, I think Lucina just isn't really the best matchup for their Sora. So again, I mean, if we do go to set number 5, which it honestly looks likely, I would really like to see I would like to see a Corrin v Sora matchup, but you know, who knows? You know, anything could happen as we are still here in set number 4. Cloud again off to a great start, much like they were off in the first game. They were off to a great start, and then Enderman slowly made that comeback as they are right now. 103% damage into the favor of Cloud, but already forcing Cloud off stage as they both are forced to recover, and now the Edgar on the way here coming from Enderman.
Doing an incredible job of like, trying to get in behind Cloud, and has done a decent job utilizing the card to get back on stage. I will say that utilizing it quite a bit. They've utilized it well, though. I think that's probably the most important aspect of it. And a large smash will finish off stock number 1. Now it's just a race against time. Can you get a second stock before the diamond weapons come out? And then you haven't even seen the full-on upgrades mined yet. So what is chance? Oh, what a play! Now you're up by 1 stock, and there is no benefit whatsoever for the Enderman.
Now that was a phenomenal play. Again, Cloud not the best off stage. They don't have the best recovery, but when you're able to catch your opponent in that up B, you're both going down. So again, phenomenal use there to force the Enderman onto their last stock while holding onto their second, and now the cross slash is able to land. And this Cloud is on a hunt for this Enderman. They want to take this win. It is literally just an all-out
Wow.
coming from Co-Host High School. My goodness, what a play. Some of the best Cloud play I've seen in quite a long time. My word.
It definitely was a well-executed, secure, and you want to make sure that when you have an edge guard opportunity like that, that you take it. It can sometimes be a dangerous spot because you're locked into that animation. The Cloud took down the Enderman with it, and dangerous. I like the high risk, high reward play in that instance because it really enabled Tom to take down the Steve.
Oh, it was honestly just a fantastic play just because, yes, you know, you are sacrificing a stock. And again, we're going back to the play, not even the last stock. It was the second stock we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, again, that kamikaze play where they went for the upbeat off stage, taking both the stock off themselves and off of Steve. But that's the whole point. In order to successfully play against this Enderman, you have to decrease the amount of time that they're on stage. The longer you leave them on stage, the more that they can mine and the quicker they can get to the diamond weaponry, the diamond utility, etc. So as long as you keep them from getting that, you are doing fine. So again, just a fantastic play call in order to limit the amount of time that Enderman could mine. And it was just by taking the stock away in the exchange of taking one from themselves.
Okay. This is going to be very interesting because one could happen. You could see Tom Cloud win, and it's game over. You have a New York regional finalist winner in 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice for Co-Host High. Middleton High wants to keep things going. They want this Enderman to live up to its namesake, and right now, things are looking incredible. Great start for this Steve. Will they be able to
Yeah,
keep the
really
momentum?
good start.
Go ahead.
And you can already see, look at this, and now the comeback nearly underway. If this cross slash, if they're able to successfully use this limit breaker, it missed. That could have been the first stock, but it was not on target, and it will be the first stock going the way of Enderman.
They already have a potential upgrade in the tank. They're able to kill where if they're able to take down the next stock, they'll have at least a chance to upgrade into gold. They definitely want to mine that diamond if given the opportunity. But the Cloud's trying to stay on top, giving a little extra time here to mine. And went for the upgrade, immediate punish.
Yeah, and again, that's the kind of cost to reward there. You give them the opportunity to get to the gold, but at the same time, you did get a chance to punish greatly. And not only that, but now Limit Breaker is also online. And with 117% damage, that's all it would have taken, but the block was there from Enderman. They're able to avoid the damage, and now looking to try and get those up airs onto Cloud. Cloud still avoiding the damage, but giving more time to Enderman to mine. As we go back center stage, and now an opportunity here for Cloud to try and take this second stock, as it will be Astro to find the up air, still holding on and still battling things out this stage.
Wow, okay. So Tom's Cloud now in a very prime position. We haven't seen the weapons full on upgraded. And I think we're going to see this Enderman really taking the center of the stage as much as possible. That might be to their downfall, though, because it gives more opportunity for the Cloud to jump on top of you a lot sooner. They're searching desperately, trying to find something to upgrade this weapon, and then in the process, you see the damage bar just keeps on rising. Is this a moment of brilliance from Tom's Cloud, or do they have a comeback in store from Middletown High?
I mean, it's still anyone's game, but right now, you got to keep in mind, there's a whole stock advantage going the way of Tom's Cloud, and they are looking to end this here now as they do get forced into the mine cart. That up smash was not on target, and look at Limit Breaker now online again. As you see this Cloud looking to end things here, and now with the cross slash, and it will. 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice will be your New York Regional Champions.
Really good stuff. And this is one of the things I love about Scholastic Esports. We saw a learning process quite literally over the course of 3 different sets. Your teammate unable to get the victory over the Enderman in the set number 1. You do a fantastic job in set number 2, but then able to utilize what was already given, goes down first game in set number 3 or 4, excuse me, and then comes back in power, gets the upper hand not once but twice over what seemed like a very tough to beat Steve.
Oh, not even seems to be. Definitely was a very tough to beat Steve. And you also have to keep in mind, this Steve, you know, the Enderman coming from Middleton High School was unfortunately, the only win that Middleton was able to get there in that series. It was game number 1 against the Cloud. Clearly, they can take down Clouds, and they did. That's where they got the game 1 win. And they were looking really, really strong, honestly, looking to be the optimal threat in the series. But then on Tom's Cloud, coming from 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. Never get tired of saying that. They came in and they conquered, even after falling in the first game. You got to keep in mind, in the first game of set number 4, Tom's Cloud lost. They lost. They came back and then took the next 2. That is literally seeing a character and a player adapt and react in real time in the middle of a match. Phenomenal.
It is what Scholastic Esports is all about. And I remind folks, if you're at all interested in getting involved, playversus.com. Definitely check it out. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity to perform at your greatest abilities, both in the classroom as well as behind the controller. So Shout out to our friends at PlayVS. Shout out to, again, the coaches, the administrators, the people behind these youngsters who have really given them the opportunity to do something that they love in an educational stance. We've seen learning, we've seen the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, esports on display for the New York Regional Finals. But it comes down to one victor, and that is 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice. Shout out to Co-host High School for all that they were able to do. Congratulations on a fantastic win.
Oh, absolutely. But with that being said, Kendo, I think that's going to wrap things up here, at least for our first regional here for New York. Again, it has been said and done. It will be the 40 metric tons of Andrew Rice to take it home for Co-host High School. But with that being said, that's only one regional down, and we got one more to go, don't we, Kendo?
Yes, we do. So we will tell you that we are going to be shutting down the stream, but it only for be about 40 minutes, as in just a little while we're going to go from the state of New York to the state of Texas for even more high school Super Smash Brothers action. So stick around. You've been watching Play Versus. We'll be back.
When I went to go get my program started, I did a lot of research on what companies people were using at the high school level with regards to playing esports. I found a few of them, but I found that PlayVS not only had some of the best reviews, but had just had high praise from people in this sphere of high school esports. So naturally, while there are other people in the state, I chose to keep going with PlayVS. So we chose to exclusively work with PlayVS because they offer a large variety of games, and they offer a large variety of games that our students get behind. Constantly, every season, they're trying to either innovate, bring more games in. They're a small company, but they try really hard, and I obviously really appreciate that. I think PlayVS' catalog is what sets them apart from everybody else. Everybody else can offer small things or even tournaments related to the game and title that they want to play with. And so I think that the idea that I can build an entire season around a specific title is really enticing.